okay? Let's talk. There we go. Have to move my water jug out of the way. Let's see if anyone jumps on. Here we go. I'm catching peeps. Oh, do you know what I forgot to do? Hi, Miracle Quantum Moon. I can talk. Hi, guys. Let's talk. So, here's the situation, because I know I probably should or could get better at my communications right now. I think that's probably important. So I want to keep you guys in the loop, especially for those of you. It's just a little bit easier with the applications for me to just like put a video up here. My hair is happening. What's happening there? So, hi, I miss you. It's so good to see all my lovely people. So, yeah, let me just give you guys a little bit of an update. The very first thing is on the applications. So for those of you that sent applications in, I'm just going over all of them. It's still kind of formulating, especially like I just need to make a choice, but probably for those of you that applied, I'm just gonna let you know, like, so I'm gonna filter down the application process to about 5 to 10 people, somewhere around there, and I'm just gonna do like testing. So I'll give you guys, like, I'll give all the details, but it's gonna get narrowed down to that. And I have quite a few applications to go through right now. And I've got some people that I, have at the forefront that I feel good and comfortable with. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I'm planning to do right now. And that's the application process. So for those of you that applied, I'm still receiving and going through not only the applications that are coming in, but also the responses that I'm receiving. And I'm trying to just like really get organized and put down like who's applied and the information and just get it all really streamlined. So that's a process, because I'm in a growth spurt, believe it or not, and it's like great but uncomfortable. So it's going to take me a little bit of time, because I have to move to the next step, and that can always be like and uncomfortable at the same time. So yes, that's what's going on with that. So for those of you, it's taking a little bit of time to receive any response from me, it's just because I'm trying to go through not only everything going on in day-to-day life and trying to get the videos uploaded in the first place, but trying to balance everything. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you guys should, I should repost that video on my community board. So here's the dealio. Here's something that I really wanted to talk about. And I know this year has been a little bit of a different situation. In general, the past couple of years, I've been like much more consistent, but this year there's been some things popping up occasionally here and there. They're different lessons, plus also there is something very new going on in the world, and I have not really known how to talk about it, because I'm trying to stay very conscious of negativity and perpetuating certain emotions. I'm trying to stay much more conscious, because usually I will just talk about whatever, and I also believe there's a balance to hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. And I'm trying to navigate what I want to put out into the world and what I want to expand. And most of the things I've been seeing pop up, more political things and environment, are not the most positive. And it is a balance for me to try to navigate. And if I get too overwhelmed with that, yeah, I'll pull away, because I am really conscious of people's sensitivities and how very much you can pick up on a reality, a situation. I would love to talk about what I'm seeing, but also, like, I don't really know how to verbalize what is happening in the world right now. Like, mostly environmental stuff, and I'm trying to balance my body with what is happening in the environment. That's a whole other situation. So that's what's happening on one side. I know that, I just understand, like, I know I probably shouldn't have to explain myself, but I know that this year specifically, I've been going away for gaps of time, and it's because there's, like, quite a bit of force. Ever since I rolled out my courses, which are going to be about, like, kind of the process that I've taken, and I have had quite a bit of responses come from that. So for those of you that have sent me emails like, oh, these courses, like, when can we take them? I don't know. That is very much up in the air right now, depending on certain people that I'm dealing with, and which I can't really get into the details of, but I'm sure those people are watching me and know exactly what I'm talking about. So, you know, and it's very unfortunate, because I definitely feel like I have information that would be very helpful and would really help along society, but there are certain people that are, like, having a response to that, which also is another thing to juggle on the side that I want to talk about as well, is walking on eggshells on social media in general. Being on a platform in any way, hi Summer, being on a platform in this capacity is a whole different navigating system, because back in the day you had people that were trying to be whatever, influencers or leaders, and it was a whole different playing field, because, like, you didn't have social media where there was an expectation of how you showed up and how often. And it's tricky to navigate when you have these walking on eggshell experiences. Like, I will just say, first and foremost, for the people that are having higher reactions to me or what I am saying, number one, you probably don't know me at all. You're probably receiving information from some other source, and it's probably not accurate. I've been having a lot of things like that pop up, and it's very unfortunate, because I wish that there would be more direct conversations taking place. I've been pretty choosy about who I connect with at this time, because there's a whole process in that as well, but I just wish people would be willing to come in and communicate or talk about the issues that they have, so that I can clear them up personally. And that's partly why I just kind of took a step back, because there's so much going on this year, and I honestly didn't know how to navigate these situations, genuinely. And I don't normally operate on certain timelines, because mainly I constantly get misinterpreted, like, all the time. Okay, so navigating that along with people's responses to me is like, so that's why I'm trying to say what I'm trying to get around to is for the people that are like either in competition or you probably are not reading me or my intentions accurately 100%. I know I'm coming across as quite blunt, mainly over the past year, but that's partially because there are things in my personal life going on too, and this is who I am right now in this phase of coming out of the past 2 years. And it's just a different path. I know I explained this in the last video, but there are things that I've gone through and a limited amount of people can talk to me about like what's going on. Okay? So yeah, it's just like a lot of tricky situations to like navigate at this time because they're highly emotionally charged, and I don't want to say the wrong thing there, or like I know that's probably, it's trying to come from a place of wisdom. Like I don't want to be all activisty. I don't think that's the proper way to go into these situations. So I've been taking genuine time to try to get back into connection with myself, whatever, my body, my soul, to come at these. And it's not going to fit timelines. So I wanted to talk about that because yeah, there are things happening, and I know that I haven't talked about them, but also I don't believe that I really should magnify these experiences and put more energy and attention on them than already is necessary. But I know there are certain people that are watching me, and I just want to say straight up, you are misinterpreting me 100%. And not who it is. And see, when I say things like that, people think it always means about them, and that's where I started to get really frustrated, was because people in my personal life started like reacting and doing all these certain things because they kept thinking like this is about me, and I'm very much tired of that in general. Like and that's why I took a step away too, because I was just like, the whole passive aggressiveness, which I know I'm guilty of doing a little bit in the past, but that was partially because things that I won't talk about. But I'm very tired of that. Like I would much prefer direct one-on-one communication. If you have something to talk to me about, talk to me about it. Like it'll save not only me, but you a headache down the road if we just freaking like communicate one-on-one. I just really wish that was taking place at this time, because there have been multiple things that have accumulated at this point, and I've got to I just thought it would be best for me to pull my energy back, so that, not necessarily giving my power away, but sometimes you can receive a lot of lessons by giving your power away. There's a process to that. Like you can, another person that might try to take it, they'll see that maybe you don't want to take someone else's power, because you're going to receive the positive but also the freaking negative. So there's a lot of things that are like, there can be these expectations on how to handle each situation, and there's just not a straightforward way to handle each individual situation. And I'm trying to navigate that right now and to do it to the best of my capabilities without not only causing harm or damage to myself, but to other people. I'm trying to find ways to assert myself where I need to and also pull back so that whatever the universe needs to come in and show whatever lessons need to be learned that way about self-regulation and, you know, people seeing reflections of themselves. There's a lot that can be said for that time of space and reflection. And social media has just, that's why I'm saying it's a whole different navigating field. Like, you've got an algorithm that sets such a strong demand, and it's like you can miss some of the organic things and it just doesn't always apply. And that's my year this year, is figuring out that sometimes the universe wants you to change directions or change up how you're doing things. So I know I sound a little possibly defensive, but like, I'm sure it's better if I communicate those things, but I really don't want to do any more posting and stuff that's being perceived like I'm talking to someone. I don't know how to explain this properly, but I'm going to tell the majority of you, especially in my life in some way, shape, or form, you're not reading me correctly, 100%. And I am genuinely disappointed about that, because I've had other people that are, saying what my intentions are, and people, that's why I just have no energy to go in and try to assert myself so much and try to explain this is where I'm coming from, or this is the actual situation. If there are people in my life that are so determined to paint me as one picture and decide that's who I am, I'm not going to chase after and try to fix your opinion of me. If you're that determined to not come forward and try to ask me, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave the relationship as it is. And I'm done chasing like that. It destroys your health. It is not a part of self-care. So that's been building up for a while, and I just wanted to say some of those things. I have a lot more, but I wanted to give just a little bit of, I guess, clarification. There are a lot of things going on in my life, and they're not the easiest to navigate, especially for me or a lot of other people. And I am going to try my best. I'm going to try to do better and better and try to be, a good support system for you guys. I think I feel more comfortable saying that I'm a support system rather than a full-on leader or, anything like that. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. And I haven't even checked out any of the comments, but thank you guys for just chilling with me and letting me talk about some of this. Yeah, I just think that there's a lot to be said for what you put your attention and focus on grows and it expands. And it's tricky to navigate these things and not to put all that energy into them, That is a very tricky thing to do, but I do think it's very real. And so I'm just trying to navigate being a human right now. But yes, I apologize to people that were worried. You guys are amazing. See, this is why I missed you guys, because you guys are my support system too. Oh, thank you, the real Jay-Z. Yeah. social media, like, it's definitely just a navigating thing. I was talking to someone the other day about this, that social media has only been around 10 years. You know, this is just like, we're only beginning to see the effects of it from information overload, from a lot of communication in general. Like, think about the lack of communication before the last 10 years. And now think about how the evolution of humans and what is happening and the navigation process. Like, how do I manage being myself on a platform like this? There's a whole different ball game, and you've got to keep in mind like your own self-growth, because every time you receive a bunch of information, like intelligence-wise, you're constantly going through some kind of expansion, and then you got to keep up with that as you evolve. So I guess it's good to take it easy, but the pressure is on this year because there are things that are happening, which I don't want to get into politics, but politics. Yeah, I am going to get into it a little bit. I was going to make a post about this on my Instagram because there was a page called Facts Daily that posted something about Biden planning to block out the sun for climate change. I don't think this is anything new. I actually think it's been happening for a considerable amount of time, but that definitely concerns me. And I do feel like certain things that are happening this year, which I don't really want to get into the details of, but I do believe are connected with that. And it's not the most enjoyable thing. I actually am concerned, definitely concerned about what's been happening in the environment. And yeah, that's a whole different thing that's been taking place right now. So yes, bear with me. There's just a lot happening in the world in general, but I have the best people. I love you guys so much. But I just wanted to talk about that because I don't know. There's a lot happening, and I just wanted to be clear. So I'm going to put that out there. For those of you, if I appreciate a conversation on clearing things up, or at least like, oh, all right, let me end with this. For those of you that know, I always talk about Robert Sapolsky. And I'm going to read something that he said in one of his molecular genetics talks. Let's see, where is it? I am going to talk about this. So for those of you that want to look this up, Robert Sapolsky did a video on behavioral evolution, and there's this point in the video where he talks about what's called like tit-for-tat strategies, and it drives others into extinction, literally. And then he talked about how when people get into tit-for-tat strategies, which is pretty much like a stalemate, and it goes back and forth, you lose something of value every time that happens. So it could be a competition, but I would be very conscious of this at this time. I have so much to say about the energy currently because it's in, where are we? Dang, it's on my phone. There are at least 4 planets retrograde. Am I right? Pluto, Saturn, Neptune. Oh, and Venus goes retrograde in a couple today. Venus went retrograde today. So it's pretty much like there's this interesting combination taking place, but And I've just been noticing in general that there's these interesting power dynamics that are taking place based off of people that are going through some kind of evolution in their own power. You know, so if you guys are coming into your power in particular phases, there's going to be reactions to that. In general, in society, that's happening because there are a lot of people that are communicating their concerns, not only about the environment and things like that, which is a huge freaking deal, because like if we don't have the environment, humans will literally not be alive. So there's a lot of concern that's happening there, like cleaning up what we have done. It's a pretty serious situation. I think it just needs to be corrected as soon as possible, and people need to stop being so apathetic. Apathy is a combination of not being connected to the environment plus the foods that you're eating. It's really not that complex. And there's been a lot of situations popping up like that where people are being pushed into self-discipline or their own evolution, and some people are choosing not to take that path, and it's causing these power dynamics, and they are a process to move through. Okay? A lot of things will pop up from that, but I wanted to talk about that with Robert Sapolsky, because if you guys can look up that video and look at that part where he talks about the tit for tat strategies, it is really fascinating because he has such a fun little like scientific approach to everything. Plus he's just like so delightful in general. I found that very helpful, and I've seen that just in general, that if you get caught in a stalemate and there's a bit of a power struggle that's taking place, you might want to disengage, because it doesn't end up good for both people, like, or both involved, whatever it's talking about, because all of you guys are going to be going through different versions of it. But also, I was going to talk about this in one of my videos, but the other thing I've been seeing as a theme is that you can go to either a person or an entity or some kind of thing because at first you want to be involved with it because you feel like it's going to bring you some kind of security or safety or protection, and those are shifting in a different direction where you're not going to feel safe by it anymore. Really interesting stuff like that, like that it turns into an opposition, like what you once felt was like a protection now feels like opposition. So very, very interesting shifts in the energy in general. So I wanted to talk about that, and then obviously Venus retrograde. I've been seeing, obviously people can come back from the past, but I've been seeing things where people, you will, if there's been a particular person or relationship in your life, sometimes you can go through these, it'll come back from the past so that you guys can experience how the other one felt or how the other one is currently feeling. And it'll be in weird ways that you're like, wow. And it can be good stuff. Some of it can be where an energy shifts around, and if you had a judgment toward another person in your life, now you might be put in their shoes, and now you can literally like experience how they were feeling. And the more that you can take that compassionate approach, and it's going to make things much more smooth, because this will just be an accumulation. I mean, by October, well, September it'll kind of switch around, but it accumulates into 5 or 6 planets retrograde. So what it ignites within you cellularly, energetically, it's going to be quite a few different lessons, and really in general to get you on track. So, like, I really do feel like just energetically, a lot of the fear-based stuff that accumulated over the past 2 or 3 years, I don't, maybe it's too hard to say it threw everyone off track, but it could have been a holding pattern, you know, like things that were happening in your life just kind of like, because people could have been going through processes or needed to look at things or really get to the depths of some certain part of themselves. I know that was very much the case for me, but then once you go through the emotional part, it's like in the tarot, like 4 or 5 of cups. Now all of a sudden when you get into the 5 of cups, you're like, I feel like I lost time. And you can go through this panic or feel like you made all these mistakes. And then you gotta kind of move through these perceptions that you hold about timelines in general. You know, is there really an expectation about how your life should be lived? Because those processes are probably just processes. So, you know, what is a mistake? Do those even really exist? A little bit more on the, what's the P word? What is the P word? I can't think of the word. What is it? I'm glad some people are agreeing with me. So yes, those are just some of the themes I've been seeing playing out. They've been really fascinating things, very significant things that are popping up. Oh, thank you so much. You guys give the nicest compliments, and I really appreciate that. I guess I could try to do something. I don't know. Oh, bedtime in London. I understand. So there's that. No, not premonition. It's like a field of study. What is it called? That's gonna drive me crazy. Not paradigm. It's like a field of study. Philosophy. Thank you. It's like a philosophy. My goodness. We got there eventually. So, yeah. That is my take on things. There's much more, to be honest. Like, this is turning into a word vomit because I have so much to say. But yes, if people have an issue or something, why don't you just reach out to me and clear things up, and then it will be squashed. And it's not always that easy when you're dealing with sensitivities. So, you know, there is that. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything else I was seeing just in general. I can't think of anything else. Summer, thank you so much for being here. I miss you. You are the best for always supporting me, even through back and forthness. The nodes. I don't know what to make of that, but oh yeah, actually. You know, there's been this fascinating thing that I've been watching too. So, like all these combinations of the planets, oh my gosh, it's been so fascinating. So like, on one side, to me, this is my perspective, this is my interpretation of what I think happens, but when Pluto goes retrograde, it feels like it pulls up a deep-seated experience, and you can be playing it out in real time, but you're not dealing, sometimes you can have people come back, but I almost feel like it's an energetic thing. I also think that it can sometimes be like sexual power dynamics, because I've been seeing a lot of really weird situations like that, which I won't get into. But if you've had these patterns, oh, thank you, L. Smith, that's so nice. Thank you for the $13.99. But if you've had these, okay, here's what, oh, I was actually going to talk about this today. I was going to make a post on this and everything. If you have some kind of pattern of behavior that has accumulated over your lifetime, the other day I was picking up significantly that if you've been having a hard time letting something go, like an actual pattern, like with eating or possibly self-sabotage, I was realizing that it can be because like you're struggling to let someone or something go, like officially, and you can put a stop to the ending by doing a repetitive self-sabotage behavior. Like that's something really crazy that I've been watching play out, and that's very real. So that might be something to take into consideration as you guys are navigating through your own day-to-day processes, like looking at yourselves and where you want to make shifts and changes in your own evolution. But yeah, is that all I wanted to say? Possibly. I could have failed on an epic level. It's very possible, because especially like I've been out of practice and I'm trying to find a different, or I'm just trying to navigate my communications in general right now. So I'm shifting and changing, and so hopefully you guys can be patient with that process, because hopefully it'll be a version of not only my future self, but where I hope society evolves to. That I really hope a lot of these old patterns and old ways of communication and stuff are going to be like out the door. But as everyone knows, if you want things to shift, like you have to make the changes yourself. So, but I know I haven't been the, like, maybe the most positive at times, but I'm going through a lot of processes that again aren't like, sometimes I lose hope, and I think that that's okay sometimes, because that helps me find ways to regenerate that. So hello Mimi. So there's that. Have I said all that I want to say? I believe so. Thank you guys so much for just being here in general, and I really appreciate that you guys have continued to support me even through some of the times that I do pull my energy back, and sometimes I feel like that may be necessary because, yeah, certain things that maybe I won't get into or bore you guys with, but yes, I took a lot of time to do some observing, not only to what was currently happening, because I wanted to, like, I can sometimes get pulled into things, but once I see a pattern taking place, then I can kind of figure out, like, okay, this is how I'm going to navigate this now. And I've just been doing certain things like that too. Like observe myself and then observe what's going on in the outward environment. Thank you, Dawn, so much for the $20. You guys are so nice. I really appreciate that. But yes. Okay. I think that I covered probably too much, but that is just how it goes, you know. You take a freaking chatty Aquarian human and then you, like, they go silent. There's a lot that builds up over that time. So, I can be a little intense at times, but I'll tell you guys, like, in general, I'm a pretty chill human. I just came out of some really freaking intense processes, so. But that was like 2 years ago. But it's been a process, you know? So anyway, I love you guys so much. And yeah, we're working on things. Be patient with me because I'm trying to like set up a new process. Whatever it looks like for the next period of time, I'm not totally sure, but we shall see. And so just bear with me for a bit as I just get things figured out right now, because retrogrades are pretty much pushing me in the direction of transitions in particular ways. So I'm just trying to figure out exactly what that looks like. Okay, my loves? All right. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. That's of course I would say something like that. Okay, I love you guys so much, and I will hopefully see you soon. Okay, take care of yourselves, and I'm sending you a crazy amount of love and peace at this time, okay? Mwah. Lots of love. Bye.